Peace, fam. I'm back. I wanted to do a video earlier, but I was rushing out, so I was like, let me just come live. There has been a lot happening, okay, and I want to get into a couple things. I'm just gonna kind of go down what I plan to talk about today, and then we're gonna get into it. Shout out to Dear Yvette Says. Shout out to Read the Heart of Philadelphia. We're gonna get into some things today, okay? So the first thing, well, we'll see what order I go in. We're definitely going to talk about CPS calls versus calling the police and the FBI. We're going to talk about revenge and retaliation calls. And we're going to get into panel nonsense, which is a part of the title. Yesterday, I made the mistake of clicking on this damn video. And it was just too much going on. So much hypocrisy, so much shenanigans. So we're going to get into all of it. I'm going to try to see if I can squeeze it into an hour. I'll try my best, but that's part of why I decided to go live a little earlier in hopes that I could be done by a certain time. So I hope y'all are doing well. Now, this topic is not, strange for me, or I've talked about this topic before. I think I have a short video about this, talked about what you need to make a CPS report and things like that. We're going to get into it, a lot of things, because I feel like this all stems from, let me take a little sip here. Apparently, and I'm going to say names today. We'll see if I put this on numbers only or not. We'll see. It's apparently Tracy with the T had called CPS on a woman named Jazzy Reloaded. Now, I'm going to say this before we get into things. I have no idea why Tracy called CPS on Jazzy Reloaded. I don't know the details. And honestly, I didn't look for the details, because what we're going to talk about today, we'll get there. Hey, peace, love. Hey, sis, thanks for being here. So I'm just going to let y'all know, I don't know what the details of that story are, but we're going to break it down. What I have seen on here is there are a lot of people who tend to get involved with calling people, and they're not really calling for the right reasons. Okay. So we're going to get into all of that because it gets frustrating, but let's start with the panel stuff first. We're going to get the panel crap out the way, because then I really want to get into some meat and potatoes, because there's a lot of things that came up while I was listening to this panel. Now, I'm going to say with the exception of Mr. Tim, the panel members were a fucking joke. Okay. Pardon my français. Okay. And I'm going to tell you why I'm excluding Mr. Tim, because Mr. Tim came up there and he stated what I believe to be an unbiased opinion. He stated how he felt. Okay. And then he kept it moving. Now, a lot of the other people on the panel, hey, lovely one, it was a joke. Okay. First of all, the person hosting the panel, okay, the Chicago lady herself, it's my understanding that she has called, and y'all know I can't stand Brova, okay? But I'm pretty sure she called CPS on Brova. Brova doesn't even have kids in his house. He doesn't even have kids in his house, okay? So she's called CPS on him because he's came on here and talked about that. All right, so if that's not a retaliation call, I don't know what is. Okay, she has made fun of autistic children. I've heard her with my own ears making fun of somebody's autistic child, mimicking what they might sound like. Totally deplorable behavior. Okay, she's called the financial aid people on somebody in hopes that they probably lose their financial aid. Okay, and this is the host of the panel. Now, there's a whole bunch of other things I can get into, but I won't, because you already know most of y'all already know this, so I don't need to get into that. So I thought it was a bit ironic that this person was trying to lecture other people on who should call, when they should call, how it affects kids, and how kids are affected and all this stuff. And it was just very, very interesting. Hey, my small space, big up, sister. So it didn't make no sense to me. So that was the first thing that pissed me off. Then we had another panel member. I told you I'm saying names today. Ken Sohanus. He's threatened to do several sexual things to children on multiple occasions. Okay. Indirect, direct, whatever. Okay. And we're going to get into that, because that's just ridiculous. Once again, you've been warned. I'm saying names. Deidre has called CPS on people. Okay. And here's the thing. This isn't just about people who call CPS. It's why and how people call CPS. I want to make that clear. So people are going to be in their fifis. Quite frankly, I don't really care, because I'm going to be honest today. Okay. So if you don't want to hear it, keep it moving. ZX also admitted, he was also a panel member last night, okay, or whenever this was, yesterday. ZX, or as I like to call him, Tantrum and Toddler TV, he admitted in the video, in the live stream, okay, out of his own mouth, that he was mad at Jazzy, that Jazzy had doxed him. And he decided that he had had enough and he was going to call CPS on her. Now, I want you to listen to what I just said. Does that have anything to do with a child that's in danger? Does that have anything to do with a child that's being mistreated? Did you hear anywhere in there that a child was being abused or neglected? Please put a 1 if you did hear that. That's not what happened. Okay. Now, the thing with the people on the panel that pissed me off was clearly it was mad day for them. They didn't like Tracy, and we're gonna get on Tracy because Tracy has also, she was not on the panel, but Tracy has also threatened to make calls on people because she was angry with them. Okay, like I told y'all, people gonna get in their feelings. Okay, we're not mincing words today because y'all think it's a game and y'all think it's a joke, and it's not. Okay, Lovely One said the child had nothing to do with their beef. Thank you, Lovely One. Somebody sensible. These children have not one goddamn thing to do with your beef. Now, if you're calling CPS because, and this doesn't even have to be because you're a mandated reporter. I'm a mandated reporter. Okay? If you're calling CPS for legit reasons, if you suspect that child is being abused, suspect, keyword suspect. Okay? Okay? If you think they're being neglected, mistreated, the list goes on and on. You have a right as a citizen, as another human being, to call CPS on somebody. Okay? Some people have lines. I'm not talking about the mandated reporters because you can't pick and choose what you report when you're a mandated reporter. But for people who aren't mandated reporters, they might pick and choose what they decide to report. What do I mean by that? Some people might not feel comfortable calling CPS on a parent if it's something like they don't have enough food in the home, right? Because some of us grew up without, so we might know what that feels like. Some people might not call CPS because they see kids online with dirty clothes, or they see kids walking around with dirty clothes. Okay, but what they will call for is if they see a child getting severely physically abused, if they know a child is sexually abused, if they know a child is neglected. There's different people who have different reasons, with the exception of mandated reporters. Like I said, you can't really pick and choose. There's just certain things you have to report. Okay. Now, here's the problem with the people who are calling. A lot of the people who are calling. A lot of the people that are, I heard Deidre say in a recording, I don't remember what channel it was on. I heard Deidre say in her call to CPS, I don't remember if it was Rita or somebody else, or if it was Rita, I don't remember. She said in the video, as she's giving details to the CPS reporter, to the person on the other end, okay, she called CPS. She then started to complain about the person. She started to complain about the parent, saying, yeah, because they're talking about me on their channel. Do you think CPS gives a flying fuck about what somebody else is saying about you on their channel? CPS is not there to air out your personal grievances between another YouTuber. They're not. They are there to protect children. I don't understand. Like, the fact that was even in the call, I just shook my head because I said, you couldn't even hide it. You actually started saying this. This wasn't a police phone call. This wasn't an FBI call. You called CPS. Okay. You didn't give any clear reasons why you were calling CPS. Because let me tell y'all something. Despite what people may say, and despite the narratives that people like to spin, if I have ever called CPS on somebody, or I don't even like to say on somebody because it's always for a child, I have clear reasons why I'm calling CPS. I have very clear reasons why I'm calling CPS, and none of them include Well, that parent got an attitude with me in today's session. That parent canceled on me 5 times, so I'm going to call CPS on them. Do y'all hear how ridiculous this sounds? Because this is what y'all idiots sound like on YouTube. Well, I had enough. I had enough for her. So I had to call CPS. Are you serious? Do you understand how ridiculous that is? The other thing is, if you're truly concerned about the kids that you're making the call about, number one, I don't understand why you need to mention their parent in any type of light, such as we got into this and we had this beef. That should be nowhere a part of your report. CPS can't do anything with that. That's not why they're there. So if you're one of those people who say, keep messing with me because I'm going to report you, that's not about the kid. Miss me with the bullshit. If you're making threats, okay, because you're mad with somebody, that's not about the child. That's about you trying to get revenge. That's about you retaliating. Okay? So all the people on the panel yesterday, with the exception of Mr. Tim, were full of shit, including the host of the panel. Because we have, like I said, Ken so heinous out here. I honestly can't take anybody seriously who goes to Ken's channel. You know, recently I had to have a big chuckle because I remember watching a couple things. Hey, Pillow Talk with Bay, thanks for being here, love. I remember a couple people getting upset with Ken so heinous because they felt played. And I said, where were you when he was threatening to do XYZ to so-and-so's child and insert XYZ into so-and-so's child's different places in their body? So you mean to tell me you were cool with them? You didn't see they were a joke. You didn't see that they were a creep. And then now, because you fell out with them, now you want to come on YouTube and complain. Nah, sis, I don't want to hear that shit. I've seen grown-ass women who could be grandparents in Ken's chat. I don't have no respect for y'all, and I don't care who wants to get upset. I really don't. This is YouTube. This is my opinion, and it's my channel. And if you don't like it, you can keep it moving. Like I said a few minutes earlier. Okay? I cannot believe that there are grown-ass people with kids, with grandkids, without kids, sitting up under this man while he says this really evil shit in his chat. I don't take you seriously. I don't respect you. I don't. And I haven't been over there in forever, but I remember the people that I saw in his chat after he said some heinous things. And then y'all got the nerve to come on here. Some of y'all get activated so easily about racial issues, but you're not really in the fight. You just want to be angry at the next white person or biracial person. Y'all just want to be angry at Leak You. Y'all didn't stop to think that this man said some fucked up shit about her grandchild. I can't. Oh yes, I'm definitely drawing the line in the sand, sis, because I can't anymore. There's too much bullshit on here. There's too much bullshit. And I'm tired of tiptoeing around folks. I'm tired of people 1 minute, 1 minute, they're complaining about somebody else. The next minute they're tap dancing in a predator's chat. Stay the fuck away from me. Because guess what? You're probably already blocked and you might not know why you're blocked. Because I seen your ass over there cheering his dumb ass on when he's doing this fuck shit. And I blocked your ass. Okay? Ridiculous. Redamn-diculous. I don't understand people. So when I see this lineup, this panel of people getting on the Chicago Ladies channel and pretending like they give a shit about kids, when many of them have dragged kids, made fun of kids with different issues, okay, have called CPS and other people out of spite and bragged about it, you don't get to tell nobody nothing. You don't get to say shit to nobody. and come on here with your high horse. And then trying to activate black people talking about, oh, so many black people, so many black homes and black tears. You don't give a shit about black people because every day you're collecting money from them for your fuck shit. Stop it. Stop. Okay, and we're going to get into the people who think just because you're black or Hispanic or whatever, that you don't call CPS. Okay? Many of us would, listen, there's some of us, okay, who maybe if somebody did call CPS, maybe we would have been molested one less time. Get into that. And I'm saying some deep shit right now, but y'all know what I'm talking about. Okay? Maybe if they had called on Uncle Ray Ray wouldn't have been able to do what he did multiple times. But y'all gonna sit up there and talk about black people when y'all sit up here and argue with each other, cuss off each other every day, call each other all kinds of niggas and shit, nigga bitches and, you know, everything. But all of a sudden you care about the black community. Okay, and then y'all team together just so you can go against the biracial person, just for the simple fact that she's biracial. You want to omit the details that this pig said horrible things about her grandchild. And you want to focus on the fact that she's half white. What? Some of y'all are sick. Some of y'all are sick. Okay? So that panel was trash. All right? Trashity, trash. And I'm very disappointed. First of all, the other thing I noticed was that, and I'm going to read your comments. Y'all know I always read your comments, but y'all know I got ADHD, so I'll be getting carried away if I start reading. Okay. The thing that really stood out to me was that, you know, the lady from Chicago, hey, Zion, Lord of mercy. The lady from Chicago had a bunch of, I thought the lineup was interesting that she had up there. Okay, because I think Ken Sohanis had also said things about her daughter. Horrible things. She had him up there. She had ZX who was saying all kinds of stuff and they falling out and her nation can't stand him. And I thought it was interesting that she let those men ramble on and on while the woman in question, who is the person who got CPS called on her, couldn't even get a word in. She couldn't even get a word in. And I just thought that was interesting that you would let two horrible men up there, one of them who threatened and said horrible things about your own child, and you let them ramble and go on and on and on. And people had to be begging you to silence these people. You are so male identified. But then you want to come up here and try to act like you fighting for the people. I'm so sick of your manipulative trash. I can't. You don't give a shit about these people. You don't give a shit about their kids. Like Reed said in her live today, this was about a click in a view for you. Stop coming up here trying to act like you really care, because you don't. Because you were literally making fun of an autistic child stimming. That's what made me stop watching you for months. I said, wait, what? What did I just listen to? It was crazy. No, exactly. I don't care. I don't care who want to get mad. That's why I said I've seen grown-ass people who got grandkids up in Ken Sohanis' live, tap dancing and shucking and jiving and making excuses for him. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? You know what? And I'm going to say something else that's going to piss people off. See, y'all remember I did a community post months ago? I heard something on, I think I was on Lee Q's channel. And I don't know if it was Ken Sohanis or if it was somebody else. Wasn't sure. But this person was saying some vile things about kids and what they was going to do. And that was when I did the community post. And I said, if you ever make another threat towards a child of a sexual nature, it's going down. Okay. And what's funny is people focus on the wrong things on here. They get on here and they talk about, oh, he was talking about Lady Mika behind her back. People want to make videos about that, but those same people don't talk about the shit that he's doing. It's not normal. None of this is normal. None of this is normal. So now that we got that raggedy ass panel out the way, that was for clicks and views, okay? Those people were a fucking joke, okay? We're gonna talk about we're gonna talk about CPS, and we're gonna talk about what things should be CPS and some things you just need to go straight to the popo. And then we're gonna break down revenge and retaliation calls, okay? So first of all, I want to say this because I think a lot of people get confused, and I just wanted to bring some clarity for people. Typically, a CPS call is for a child who is in the care of someone. So that could be a parent, a caregiver, a grandparent, some kind of a caregiver, parent, or guardian. Chances are, if somebody is acting a fool towards kids and that kid is not in their, they don't take care of the child, they don't even have access to the child, that's not really a CPS call. And I don't think some people understand that. So I wanted to break that down so people can understand what their options are. Now, if you make it, chances are CPS is going to tell you there's not much they can do, or they're going to send it to the authorities. But you're really making a gamble at that point. Now, I want to say this because I want it to be clear about Ken So Heinous. The reason why people cannot do much about what Ken So Heinous has been saying is, number one, when you make a CPS call, listen, making a CPS call in the internet realm is very different than making a CPS call in real life, in day to day, walking around on your feet life. And I'm going to tell you why. Now, when I work with, I'm a mandated reporter. If I work with a family and I have to make a report, chances are I'm going to have access to that child's information. I'm going to know who the caregiver is. I'm going to know where the child lives. I'm going to know their age. So there's a lot of information that I'm going to have because this is a child that is on my caseload or that I'm working with closely. Okay? Every once in a while in the past, I've gotten a report that is not of somebody who currently lives with them. Do I still have to report it? Sure. But typically CPS will do nothing because they're going to say that person doesn't even, they're either going to hand it over to the authorities depending on how serious the crime was or what the allegation or was. They can't really do anything because the child is not living with that person. So I want to help you out to understand this. So what can you do? In that case, when you hear somebody like Ken So Heinous threatening to put penises and other things, pee into people's grandkids' mouths and things like that, that is a call for the police or the FBI. It's the FBI if you're not in the same state as this person. Okay, now I'm not a legal buff, so I'm giving out basic information. That is a call to, at the very least, you need to go to your police station and you need to report that this person is making a threat towards your child. If you call CPS, this is what's going to happen when you call CPS for somebody doing that. They're going to come and interview the person who lives with the child. Chances are, if your name is, I don't know, Sally Allo, okay, and your child's name is Fifi on you, and you're on YouTube, okay, Fifi don't got a goddamn clue that Ken So Heinous is saying these horrible things. So they're going to come investigate and they're going to interview this child and they're going to interview the parents, okay? And where is it going to go? He doesn't have access to them. 9 times out of 10, he's not even in the same state. So you're better off actually calling the police. Who should call the police and who should call the FBI? Well, guess what? If you have access to that child in any way, so you're their parent, you're their grandparent, you know, whatever, if you know where the child lives, then that's when you actually go to the police. And here's why I'm saying this, because if you call CPS and you don't have all you got is Fifi's name and that's her nickname, and you say, well, I'm calling on behalf of Sally Allo. You know, she has a YouTube channel and her daughter's name is Fifi. Well, how old is Fifi, ma'am? I don't know. Where does Fifi live? I don't know, but here's her channel link. What the fuck do you think CPS is going to do with that information? I'll wait. Not one thing. Okay. Now, unless this child is in imminent danger and you're like, here's a channel link or something, and you can see stuff going down, that might help you. But in the case of somebody who doesn't even live in their state, which state? How would you know which state to call? Are you calling the state that the child lives in? Or are you calling Ken Sohanis' state? Do you see what I'm saying? If you call CPS on Ken Sohanis for something like that, if you're lucky, they'll be able to investigate him. But chances are you don't have his address. You don't know his government name. You don't know how old he is. You don't have a phone number for him. You have no way for CPS to actually follow through on that call. This is what I'm saying. When you're dealing with things on the internet, it's very difficult to actually get somewhere. That doesn't mean these people should get off the hook. I'm just trying to give y'all the information. If you're really serious about protecting your kids, don't wait for somebody else. Don't hope and pray for somebody else to report it. Because if you live with that child or you have access to that child, you can call the police yourself. Call the FBI. Okay, and the thing is, he's slick. He doesn't always say he's directly doing something. He kind of insinuates things. And I'm telling y'all this because I know there's people that have been victims of him. And he said horrible things. I hope you guys are calling the police. I hope y'all reporting his ass to the FBI. Okay? And stop pulling this black card shit. If you really, really want your child to be safe, you need to make that call. This man is not going to stop. Hey, old school Patricia. He's not going to stop. And chances are the people in your chat don't know him. They don't know his name. They don't know where he lives. They don't know what your child's name is. So how the hell are they going to make a CPS call on your behalf? I'm just trying to give y'all the facts here. It is not as simple as you think it is. Now, in everyday life, you might see a neighbor and you might be like, oh, that neighbor, something's going down. You know what I'm saying? And then you can report that or whatever it is. But on the internet, it's much harder. You actually need real information to report something. You do. The other thing I want to say is don't let anybody shame you if you have made a legitimate call to CPS. What do I mean by that? We're gonna get into the retaliation calls in a second, but don't let people shame you. If you've actually made a real call, okay? Especially, we're not even going to talk about mandated reporters because that's a whole nother. I don't need to say this because the people who actually are mandated reporters, which I know there's some of y'all here, okay? I don't have to announce who you are. You know what your job is. You know what you have to do, okay? It has nothing to do with people's feelings. It doesn't matter what people want to think and feel. And guess what? You may never know that we do it. You may never know that it happened. So don't assume just because, see, a lot of people think just because you're not hitting live and record, you're not doing anything about something. Those calls aren't for clicks and views. The only time I came on here and disclosed that, I already told y'all the story. There was somebody going around and trolling and doing all kinds of shit. Okay? Other than that, it's nobody's business if you decide that you need to report it. And that's another thing. If you're really serious about this, why do you need to make videos about it? Tracy, I saw that it looks like you put that woman's address on your wall. Why did you need to do that? How are you going to dox this lady and then turn around and say that her kids is in danger? You just put the kids in danger by putting her address on your community wall. Are you serious? And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that wasn't her address. Maybe I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, y'all. But Tracy, I saw an address on your wall. You can't tell me you care about these kids and you're posting somebody's address on your goddamn wall. Make it make sense. You're putting these kids in danger. How do you know it's not an old nasty predator lurking in the bushes? Let me write this shit down. Oh, she probably got about 4 or 5 kids. You don't know. See, I don't understand the stuff that we have to deal with. You don't understand the shit that I've heard and seen. This is all a game to you. There's kids that's dying. There's kids that have been significantly hurt. I remember I saw a kid. He had, I don't even remember what degree burns. Because guess what? His parent dunked him in a bathtub of hot water. and he was so little. And he had so many behavioral issues, and it was very hard for him to bond with his foster parents. He actually had good foster parents. He did. And he got kicked out of that home because he was off the chain. He didn't know how to trust anybody. Because during bath time, he got dunked in a damn hot tub. I mean, not hot tub, a tub of hot water on purpose to discipline him. Okay? There's kids that are starved to death on purpose, not because their parents have fallen in hard times. I'm not talking about that, guys. I'm talking about wicked, evil people tying up kids and shit in the basement. Okay? I could tell you story after story after story. So when y'all get on here with your fuckery and you're trying to ruin other people's lives just because you're mad at them, it's not okay. If you're making a legit call, it's totally fine. And you might still get criticized. You may actually make a legit call and people criticize you. That's their problem, not yours. Do what you need to do, whether you're a mandated reporter or not. But some of y'all have not really witnessed the real shit that goes down. And you flippantly call CPS on people. Yeah. And that's nothing, old school Patricia. I got stories for days. But some of them I can't tell y'all because if you Google it, you're going to find it. You know what I'm saying? It's kids that's getting real fucked up around here. And you idiots are actually wasting resources, ruining people's lives because you're angry about something somebody said on the internet. Like, I don't understand. I don't get it at all. I don't get it. I really don't get it. Y'all think it's a game and it's a joke. And not all foster parents are bad. That people, they get a bad rap. And yes, there's some evil ass people out there. But I heard the lady from Chicago say some other ignorant shit before we get more into revenge and retaliation calls. Hey, Leak You, thanks for being here. I was talking about you earlier. Shout out to Leak You. Okay? Because we're not racist over here. We're not. Anyway, moving right along. I heard the Chicago lady say in her live yesterday, I told y'all she was trying to act like she was a champion for black people and, black people shouldn't make these calls. And that's a bunch of bullshit. It's a bunch of bullshit. Hey, Kimberly, thanks for subbing, hun. That's a bunch of bullshit. What you need to be talking about is the people making calls that's ruining people's lives because they're mad. You did that, Chicago lady. You called on Brother because you were mad. He doesn't even have kids in his house. And I can't stand him. But that was wrong. You called on that man. And then I think it backfired. That's how you ended up with them in your home. Isn't that right, Chicago lady? Okay? You did that out of spite. And then you're going to turn around and talk about some black people, endangering kids and stuff and foster care. Some kids need to go to foster care. The kids that I just talked about, those kids needed to go to foster care because those were extreme circumstances. Don't be fooled. Not everybody gets their kids pulled. CPS gets called sometimes. They open a case, they work with you to make sure you have supports, and it gets closed. Not if your kids get removed, there's a reason why they remove your kids. It's not always that they remove your kids. I have parents who have called CPS on themselves to get CPS involved and their kids don't get removed. They just need a little extra support. I wouldn't suggest that for everybody. It depends on your state. It depends on where you are. Okay, be careful because they ain't all built the same. And we know there's a huge disparity of black and brown kids who get yanked from their homes because of child protective services. We know that. I did a whole damn video because I was mad at another therapist who didn't even want to acknowledge that shit. Okay, so I'm not playing dumb here. I'm just keeping it real that yes, if you're not a mandated reporter and you are just like a regular smegular person who's trying to think, should I call CPS? And you have your boundaries as to what you will call for, I will never fault you. I will never fault you because you might have your own compassion. You might have your own levels to what you will call for. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about people who will never call. They know that that girl across the street, what's going down within her house. And then they couch it as I'm going to mind my business. Do you know how many people minded their business? Okay. I'm doing air quotes if you can see me. And it's a lifetime of trauma for people. I don't have to spill the details for you. You can read between the lines. It's not always appropriate to do nothing. Okay, so just like I'm talking to the people who think it's a joke and it's a game, and they're just flippantly calling government agencies on people, I'm also talking to the people who don't realize sometimes you got to make that call, but do it safely. Don't be out there. See, this is how I know some of y'all don't got no interactions with everyday people. Because I remember when I lived in Philly, this person died because they saw somebody beating the hell out their kid. And I guess I don't know if they were getting off the bus and they called or they announced that they were calling. And then they pulled up on them and shot them. This is real. So be careful. Don't be dumb either. If you got to go around the corner, if you got to go into a building and call, like if it's something serious, hey, MT, do that. Protect yourself. They're crazy ass people out here. They know they're doing evil shit and they will harm you. Okay, so this is what I'm saying. Some of these people who flippantly call CPS, y'all would never announce that shit off of if you weren't online because you'd get your ass beat. And I'm not advocating for that. I'm just telling you that there would be some serious things going down if you actually had the guts to do this face to face. Most of the people calling CPS, especially in the beef sector, don't give a rip about these kids. You don't give a shit because you're hanging out in Ken Sohanius motherfucking shack, kissing his ass, and then turn around and talk about, oh my gosh, black kids, stop. I cannot deal with it. I can't deal with you. Are you serious? Are you serious? It's so much hypocrisy on here. When I tell you that damn thing made my blood boil listening to it yesterday, I had to cut that shit off. I said, what the fuck is going on around here? You've done horrible things to people. You haven't even apologized, but you sitting up here talking about some and people calling CPS. And then the woman who got called, who somebody called CPS on, you wouldn't even let her talk. You was too busy being male identified, worshiping ZX and Ken. Child, the thirst is real for male acknowledgement. Anyway, yes, and you could be anonymous. You could make an anonymous call. Protect yourself, because in some circumstances they may suspect that you did it, and you may need to do that. Protect yourself. Y'all don't understand the shit that's happening here. I can tell y'all crazy shit. And have I also seen parents who I feel like the system has treated them unfairly and have kept their kids away from them longer than they should? Absolutely. I've come on here and talked about that too. I've come on here and I talk about no matter the reason why a kid is pulled from their home, it's going to cause significant trauma for them because separation from your parent of origin, even if they're trash, is traumatic for most kids, even if it's in their best interest. It doesn't mean CPS shouldn't be called. Okay, it just means that you have to acknowledge that they're affected by the separation from their parents, even if their foster parents are golden. I've met some wonderful foster parents in my career. I've also met some horrible ones. Yes, I have. I have met foster parents who I've had to call CPS on. A kid is supposed to be in your own safety, and you out here abusing these kids further after they done been through some trials and tribulations. Fuck you. Yes, I'm calling CPS on you. Mm-hmm. And they can investigate. And if the child is not telling the truth, which is very weird, it is traumatizing. Child, I could do a whole nother video on self-care because at one point in my career, all I did was trauma therapy. Some of the hardest years of my life, very draining, rewarding, but very draining. So this is what I'm saying. This is not a game, guys. People are online. Tracy, what were the things that you were reporting on this woman? And I'm not saying this person is innocent because I seen a video of her admitting to stalking somebody. So I know that she has her past, but that don't mean you got to call CPS on her. Not if her kids aren't in danger. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all need to stick to cussing people out and dragging and reading. Stop involving these kids. Somebody said this earlier. Stop involving these kids. See, because y'all going to mess around with the wrong person one day. And you're going to get your head blown off. You're going to get a knock on your door. And you're going to think it's the Pizza Hut man. Or you're going to think it's DoorDash. And you're going to get blown away. Mm-hmm. And I'm not supporting that. I'm just telling y'all, you think it's a game. People don't play about their kids, especially when you're doing evil shit to them and they know they're not doing that. Y'all need to stop. Y'all need to find something. Some of y'all need to get jobs and other hobbies other than YouTube because it's not healthy for you. This is why y'all don't see me on here sometimes. I got shit to do. I love it and I like having fun, but I'm not going to have my life fall apart just to be online. Y'all need to some of y'all need to get it together. It's crazy. Yes, it's so hard. It's such a hard field for empaths. Such a hard field for empaths. So if you're making a call to CPS because you suspect abuse, neglect, maltreatment, kudos to you. Okay? As I said before, mandated reporters can't really pick and choose what to report. Exactly. I saw that today and you know what? Was that a community post or a video? Because I wanted to share it, but I was like in the middle of transitioning to something else. Peace Love nailed it. She said, some of y'all need to log off and y'all don't need to sit on nobody's couch. You just need to get some damn fresh air. And I said, if she don't go ahead, she's absolutely right. Absolutely right. This is my problem with the young lady that just got her kids back. She just needs to move different. Being that she got her kids back, that's my thing. She needs to protect them as well. Absolutely. Protect your kids. There are evil ass people on here. There are evil ass people lurking. They can't wait for you to slip up so they can call CPS. And that just shows how miserable their fucking lives are. This lady just got her kids back, guys. Do you know it's not easy to get your kids back? Do you know what a victory that is? Any parent that I've worked with who gets reunified with their children, I know that they did not get there just by accident. Okay. So we're going to go ahead. Let me see here. None of my sous chefs are here. Let me go ahead and take this person out. Okay. Good day. It's just crazy. It's crazy. So here's my question to the people calling CPS. Would you call CPS if you weren't beefing with the person that is their parent? If you didn't dislike the person that is their parents? I bet you wouldn't. If you can truly say yes, then I'm wrong. Great, you did a good job. Do you actually care about the child or the children in the situation? Some people just want to come on here and get points. For God knows what, I don't know. Okay? And I've heard people say, I'm going to say something. I heard somebody real foolish say something. They said, what did so-and-so do to you? This is the dumb mindset that people have. Because there's so many people on here making retaliation calls, they assume that every single CPS call has to do with you disliking somebody. That's not always the case. In fact, I never heard of that shit till YouTube. I've had, you know what? I'm trying to think if I've had 2 clients in my whole career, and I've been doing this for almost 10 years, who've come to me and said, I think this person called CPS on me because they were trying to get back at me. Twice in 10 years. Okay. And I told them what to do. Okay. I told them what steps they can take. That's it. So even offline, I'm not saying people aren't doing it offline, but in my experience, I feel like people are doing this at a higher rate online because they're disconnected from these people. They're disconnected from these people's lives. A lot of the people getting reported on, you can't even see them with their kids. You don't even know what their kids look like. You don't know their names. Unless you hear them screaming in the background that something's happening. That's different. But what could you possibly be calling for? And then you turn around and some of y'all are the same people hanging out in Ken's chat. I'm going to keep saying that till it sinks home for you. I could never understand what any decent human being would want to do with that person. What does he have to contribute after he done threatened and insinuated sexual things towards kids? And if y'all are late and just coming in, I told y'all, people like that, you need to call the police or you need to call the FBI. That's what you need to do. Don't even waste your time trying to call CPS, because then they're going to have to figure out where this person lives and do they have access to the child. And if they don't have access to the child, CPS is going to be like, case dismissed, unfounded. I'm telling y'all what I know. If you're truly concerned about somebody making verbal threats of a sexual nature towards your children or towards somebody you actually know, pick up the phone, go to the police station, file a report against this person. Record their video, take it to the police and say, this is what this person is saying they're going to do to my child. Because I'm almost positive you're not going to get very far with CPS. They don't live with your child. They don't. So, like I said, and I'm going to share the story real quick again. Okay. I heard, and I'm going to say the name. Deirdre was making a call on someone and slipped up and said, yeah, because she's talking about me on her channel. That is a dead giveaway that you don't give a fuck about those kids. Why does that even need to be in the CPS report? Why? Why does that even need to be in the CPS report? And let me say something else too. If a family member tells me something about somebody else with minor children in their home, that is something I could report. And I'm going to go back and read these comments. It's crazy that we even have to have this conversation. Thank you, Monique. Mandated reporters also have a responsibility. It's crazy that many of these calls are made because of YouTube beef. Facts. And this is all I'm simply saying. Monique nailed it. These people aren't really calling because they care about these kids. They're calling because they're in a beef with somebody. They're calling because they're mad. They're calling because they didn't win the war of words. And so how can I get this person? What can I do to really hurt this person? Some of y'all got problems. And we all got problems, but some of y'all got problems. If you want to hurt people in ways that could be irreparable. It's sad. It's very, very sad. I clearly remember Tracy saying she hit below the belt even after your own kids. She better remember that when somebody successfully laid hands on her. And some of these people don't got no morals. Or they just make it up as they go along. She can legally get in trouble for making a false report. Yes, she can. I pray the mother takes full legal actions on her. And here's the thing. You know what's sad? 9 times out of 10, they don't do nothing about false reports. What happens is the people that are on YouTube dumb enough to actually like brag about the false reports where people can get videos, those are the people they could probably really do something to. Okay, because you're actually admitting to a crime on camera. And that's why I laugh at the people who were like, yeah, Pressure Cooker made a false report. I have never, ever made any false reports ever in my life on God. Okay. So all them people saying that, I just laugh because I said, these people don't got nothing to do. They ain't got no jobs. And they think that I'm really going to risk my career making a false report. What do I have to gain from making a false report? Dummies. Anyway, exactly. They just want to be angry about something or be a part of it. Yeah, they just want to be in the limelight. That damn live yesterday was about clicks and views, as Reed had alluded to earlier. Chicago Ladies Live had nothing to do with parents who are unfairly targeted. It wasn't. Because if it was, you wouldn't have went up there and let those toxic ass men take over the panel. And then let the woman who is actually experiencing this, have to beg you to silence them so she can get a word in. I stopped going over there recently and blocked him. I can't. He's gone away too far from it. Yes, too many times. And let me tell you something about Ken So heinous. Okay, because he tried to say some shit about me and my child and my baby or whatever. Child. Ken So heinous is a miserable man. The only reason why he had an opportunity to even say that shit to me, I had left him unblocked on purpose because he had been making so many threats. I wanted him to slip up and just threaten a specific kid in a specific way so that he can get popped, but he never did. And I said this before. We have a culture of keeping family secrets. It goes way back. It's to our own detriment. This right here, peace, love is on point. This is what I was talking about. Okay. Some of us really struggle with this to our own detriment, as she said. Okay. I understand there's a place for sticking together. I understand there's a place for not wanting to bring harm to another person who is Black or anything like that because the system is set up against us from the jump. I understand that. However, when it comes to certain crimes as it relates to kids, that mentality is just only harming people. It's not helping people, it's harming them. Trust me. I could go into more stories, but I won't. My small space said, like Mr. West, that wouldn't touch a dark-skinned woman with a long stick, but run to us to defend him in this mess, or Miss TK wanted to rally Black people against Cardi after being a big bad bully. Not me. Sorry. Okay? Tell him, my small space. That part, they call for yuck-ish, but protect the abusers. This is, when I tell you this grinds my gears, when I tell you this is the shit that makes me want to punch somebody in the esophagus, I don't want to hear nothing from none of those people. Nothing. Nathan, if you're supporting an abuser, if you're protecting an abuser, don't come tell other people what to do. Because you're part of the problem. Yep. Foolishness. And this is why we have generations of people that have been sexually abused. Oh, don't tell nobody, honey. You go tell your mom or your auntie what happened, and then they tell you to keep a hush hush. And then next thing you know, Uncle Ray done did it to 6 nieces and nephews. I'm saying this stuff for a reason, not for shock value, because this is facts. Do you know how many clients I've seen who they might have been the first or second victim of somebody's molestation? And I'm not blaming them at all because it is not their fault. And then there's multiple people after them. Because most of the times what's really sad about sexual trauma is you think you're the only one. You don't say anything. Abusers are very good at silencing their victims. They're very good at tricking you into thinking, if you say something, nobody will believe you. If you say something, I'm going to do this to you. I'm going to hurt you. They know how to silence people. And victims will believe that. Okay? And so this is how they continue to perpetrate their crimes for years, sometimes generations. And I know many of y'all know I'm telling the truth. If I think he were a woman, he wouldn't get any passes. Our people like to support our men and nurture them. I'm guilty of that. And here's the thing. I'm all for healthy support and nurturing. I'm talking about when people just do down to the gutter ass shit and you can't even call them out. I'm not saying everybody needs to be cut off, right? Because I do think there is a subset of toxic women in the Black community who say horrible things about Black men. They're not, and they lump all the Black men in. Not all of them are behaving like that. Some of them are. I don't think it's fair to lump all of them together and to say, they're all trash and I don't like that narrative, because guess what? If I heard somebody talking about Black women that way, it's going to be a problem. So I don't appreciate when I hear those type of generalizations about Black men either. So I think there's a place for both, right? Keeping it real, but also let's not throw everybody away. You know what I'm saying? Because we had some bad experiences. We have been taught that happens in this household stays in this household. That is why we have so many broken children taking vacancy in adult bodies. That part, Reed. Excellent, excellent, excellent point. Hey, everyone, it's time to take the streets back. Kids are off limits, period. And you know what? You know what, Yvette? This is a powerful statement, but there's too many people who are too trashy to trash to endorse this. It's very sad. Their entertainment is more important than making sure that the kids are protected. Guys, pray for the kids that are being trafficked as well. This right here is a whole nother topic. Trafficked kids, man. I can't even go into it. I don't watch Fi. I get the rundown on Reed's channel. Sounds like she was still on her hypocrisy train of BS. And I typically don't watch her either. But I was like, let me see what she has to say about this. And then, which is funny because she doesn't usually have panels. And I was like, this is your lineup. This is the best that you can do. What is going on? You should have just left the topic alone. We know you only made that damn video because it was one of your arch nemesis, honey. That's my only concern with the latest call. Those kids aren't safe, but the unknown breaks my heart for those kids. And that's the thing. I want to make sure I'm clear here. I have no idea why Tracy made that call. It could have been a legit call. So that's, I noticed this live is not about attacking anybody. If you're not making false reports, if you're not making reports out of spite, you don't need to worry about it because I'm not talking about you. But Zion Movements is spot on. See, some people know more than I do. I don't watch that lady, so I have no idea. But I did see a video of her admitting to stalking somebody. And so I thought, this is certainly doesn't deserve a CPS call, but sometimes we get our karma. You know what I'm saying? Like, some of us do the absolute most on the internet. I'm just making sure I didn't miss any comments, y'all. How many kids sadly died while in foster care? One too many. A lot of kids have died in foster care. Absolutely. And it's true. But also equally, there's a lot of kids that have died because they're experiencing severe abuse in their homes of origin and nobody did anything. And so both are true. It's hard because there are people who sign up to be foster parents just for a check. There are. It's sad. You know what I'm saying? And even with kids who have trauma, if you want to be a foster parent someday, I don't know, every state might be different, or a province where there are some kids, when like in the work that I used to do, there were different levels to their placement. Some kids were what is it? Trauma foster care or treatment foster care. Anyway, the level I'm talking about, those are the kids that they have to go to therapy. It is required for them to go to therapy. And I can always tell the parents who sign up for the check, because this is something that they would have known, and they make up every excuse in the book why they're not going to bring this child, and then try to blame the child as though they're a burden. You should have never taken on this child in the first place. If you do not have the time to make sure they're getting the proper care that they need, you shouldn't, because guess what? They get more money for kids that are of a different treatment level. Treatment foster care, they get more money. So some of them will go for that, thinking it's going to be a walk in the park, and then it makes their lives miserable. It is not easy, guys. It's not easy. Zion Movement says, lovely ones that I couldn't do it. I'm too emotional. I will wind up taking my emotional baggage home with me. You know, lovely one, I had to do so much work just to make sure I minimize that. It takes years to get your kids back and establish that bond again. It does. This is what I was talking about. Let me start this so I remember this. It can take years to get your kids back. Once they're in the system, okay, it can take a long time to reunify with them. There's a lot of hoops to jump through. This is assuming that your kids get removed. So this is why I'm saying, guys, calling for flippant reasons is ridiculous. Because, well, and when I say flippant, I'm talking about because you're mad at the person, not because there's actually things that you need to report. If you have to compartmentalize and find a hobby to decompress, yes, you do. You absolutely do. It's crazy that we even have to have this conversation. Oh, sorry, I read this one. That call was sad, crazy, and hilarious. Zion, and listen, I'm gonna see this live gonna get me in a lot of trouble, but I'm just being honest. I'm bearing my soul today. I used to really, really fuck with Deirdre. I used to love watching her. I think she's funny. I think she's smart. And then there was a couple things that were red flags for me. Okay. Now I think was it Reed? I think it was Reed that she called on. I didn't feel like it was warranted. I started to pull away then because I was like, why are you calling on this woman? There was no reason for her to call whoever it was. I don't remember if it was the FBI or CPS. Okay. And then it was just some other stuff that I was just like, you know what, Deirdre, you're doing too much. I can't support this. And I just backed away because I was like, and then when I heard this other call of her complaining to the person taking the report, Oh yeah, they were talking about me. And I was like, you're too grown to not know that this is some bullshit. Excuse me. You have too much life experience to not know that this is foolishness. Do you know how ridiculous that sounds? I was like, is this real? Did she really say that? I think it was on, I think Leaky was playing it. I said, is Deirdre really saying this right now? She comes home dead tired only to wake up and do it again. I really admire her. Kimberly said the only victims in a situation like this are the children. But people don't understand that. Lovely One said, I saw a video where someone said the DA knows both Tracy and Fish due to many 911 calls. Oop! Why haven't any legal actions been taken for the false report? And this is what I mentioned earlier, guys. False reporting, and this is a theory, just a theory. I don't know this for true. Because I've wondered the same thing, why people get away with like making so many false reports. I think it's one of those things where they don't want, think about this. If you begin to criminalize people making calls, even though these people are making false reports, if you begin to do that at a high rate, what's going to happen is it's going to scare the real people who would likely make a report and thinking like, oh, what if it's wrong? What if it's wrong? They don't want people to not call because they're worried about if they're right or not. It is not your job to investigate. It's just your job to report it, assuming you have a legitimate reason to report it, right? Remember that. It's not your job to investigate. Whatever happens as a result of that investigation, that is on the investigation team. If they find something, they don't just pull kids for no reason. If they pull kids from a home, there's very specific reasons why the kid was pulled. I told y'all before stories about, you can call CPS for one thing and that's unfounded. And then CPS is like, oh, well, we went ahead and looked and you don't got no fridge in your food in your refrigerator. And then they pull the kids. Okay. That can happen. So it's not always the reason you call for. It could be something else. It could be safety concerns. It could be a whole slew of things. But what I do know is that not every call results in, like, when you hear people bragging about getting people's kids pulled, that's how you know they're really messed up, because actually not every call results in kids getting pulled. There's other resources. Even though we know that CPS has a long history of racial disparity, like I said, with Black and brown families and pulling those kids a lot quicker. I done told y'all about some white families that should have gotten pulled, and I fell for the kids, and they didn't, because I know it's because they white. Okay, so it goes both ways. It hurts other people. But you have to understand that if they start to criminalize that on a large scale, this is my theory. I don't know this. I think they try to avoid prosecuting people because they don't want the legitimate calls to be discouraged, because people are scared, if that makes sense. That's just my theory. I don't know. And I have no doubt that they know who those two are. I have no doubt. I already said hello to you, Kimberly. It really isn't take a lifetime to undo the damage. Yes, it does. It's a lot of work to get your kids back. It's a lot of work. And every single time it's happened, I've been so happy for those parents, because I know they didn't just get there just to get there. They had to do a lot of work, sometimes a little bit too many hoops, if you ask me. Kim said, what grinds my gears when I see grown women sitting in chat, listen to a man verbally abuse women. Kimberly, we must be kindred spirits, because that messes me up too. Okay, apart from people saying horrible things about kids, that drives me insane. I cannot stand a misogynistic man. I cannot stand a man that's sitting up there telling women, shut the fuck up. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Okay, I can't do the voice good, but y'all know who I'm talking about. I cannot stand a man who talks down to women and they sit there and they take it and they got more smoke for their sister than this trash ass misogynistic man. That drives me insane. Even if I don't know you, I will get mad if I see some man talking crazy to you. Just because. And they don't talk to their other fellow brethren like that. They don't got no bass in their voice when they're talking to other men like that. And that's how you know they're weak men. I'm done with my rant. Zion Movement said an example is the latest incident in which the basketball wife and her son, he was a victim, and a child, he victimized his step siblings. Yes, I need to look into that story. You're talking about Royce. I don't know the full story. Very sad. This is what I'm talking about. Okay? This is what I'm talking about right here. Cutting people off is called self-preservation. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Okay. Just they just pop a Disney traffic ring. What? Oh, I gotta look this up, Zion. I gotta look it up. Hey, T Lounge. That pissed me off, but Ree can handle herself. But still, yes, it's crazy. I was very disappointed in Deirdre, and I don't think I've publicly come out and say it. I just like stepped away. I don't like when people do stuff like that. You didn't have a reason to call on that woman. You didn't. You just did it because you were mad, and it's wrong. It's wrong. I agree, but if the same person keeps making too many calls, they should be arrested. Oh, I'm not saying they shouldn't be. I'm just saying I wonder if that's why they don't prosecute them. Because I think that it will send a message to people if they actually did it. The key word is having legitimate reason to call. Calling to one up someone online is unacceptable. Always unacceptable. I absolutely agree with you. So I got through all the comments. I'm just going to peek at my notes real quick. I think that's like mostly what I had to say. I will not be responding to any spawns of Satan from New Orleans. I'm talking about a specific person. I won't be checking his wall. Please don't come to my channel and tell me that he said anything. I don't care. Okay. He's going to get his karma one of these days. Okay. I will not be responding to any people who got something to say. I said what the fuck I said and I meant it. Okay. Do better. And I'm not talking to the people in chat. I'm talking to the people who's out here doing all of this evil shit, okay, and thinking it's okay. What happened to you in your life that, it's become so easy for you to try to ruin people's lives? Like, that's really sad. Told you she's pink haired. You know what? I really tried to cape for her too, but she really, really was out of pocket. I was like, yo, why did you do that? That lady, like, people go back and forth. They talk about each other. You did not need to call the authorities on that woman and create that chaos for her. I don't support that shit. Period. And I had backed away since then. I was like, oh no, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. I don't want to be associated with you. This is not acceptable. And so, child, it's crazy how quick people are to tear down other people. Stay safe. The other thing is, try your best to keep some of your information private. Some things it's your choice if you want to come on here and share. But just remember that there are people that are so miserable and unhappy, and they're upset about your happiness or what they perceive to be your happiness, that they will try ways to try to ruin that for you. Okay. Just think about that before you post things. It's sad that, and it's really mostly in the beef sector, because there's a lot of other channels where people can post their families and their kids and none of this shit will happen. Okay. It's very, very sad. It's very sad. But anyway, thank y'all for being here. Thank you for being a part of the conversation. This is all I got for you. I know some people are going to be mad. Like I said before, I really don't care. I don't. Okay. Stop making fake calls. Stop wasting government resources. Stop trying to ruin people's lives. It's never okay. And if you do have a reason, a legit reason, hey Jackie, if you have a legit reason to call, I encourage you to call. Okay? There are things that you need for a call. I've talked about that before. Make the call if you feel like you need to make the call. Okay? And a lot of these people coming on here are making announcements. I tend to give them the side eye, because usually those are the people who are doing it for the wrong reasons. Not all the time. Not all the time. There are people, yeah, they're going to be mad. I'm going to let them be mad. I'm not scared. It's sad. Lovely one, it's crazy. That's the reason why a lot of people don't like me, because I don't come on here and tap dance and kiss ass. I don't. Sometimes I'll just be quiet. If I'm cool with you and I see you doing stuff, I might like back off or something. Sometimes I'll tell you directly. But it's too many people just being hypocrites. Too many people, and it just drives me insane. Just absolutely absurd. Absolutely absurd. And even just watching like the Chicago ladies chat yesterday was like, yo, these people are delusional. They will switch in a moment to support somebody if she's okay with it, even if this person has done horrible things to her and other people. Ciao. Anyway, like I said in closing, and I meant this, if Ken Sohanis continues to make threats towards your child, towards your grandchild, towards your niece and nephews, call the police on his ass. Make a police report. Okay. And if it's cross state lines, go ahead and call the FBI, because that's not funny. I don't think there's anything funny about threatening to sexually assault a child or insinuating that you want that to happen to them at all. And there's no reason for me to sugarcoat that at all. I don't care what y'all want to say. She a cop caller, she a this. Trust and believe if somebody say that shit about my child, I'm going to report your ass to the police. I'm putting you on notice now, because it's that or you're going to be 6 feet under. Good day.